From Washington, D.C., this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Hena Zuberi. Our top story tonight. 2 alleged Chinese police officers have been taken into custody, and 40 other Chinese national police officers have been charged with a plot to spy on U.S.-based dissidents. On Monday, the U.S. Department of Justice said the 2 men arrested that day were identified as New York City residents. Harry Liu Jianwang and Chen Jinping were alleged to have helped China establish the first overseas police station for Beijing's Ministry of Public Security. The men are accused of destroying evidence of their communications with a Chinese ministry official ahead of their arrest. Jianwang and Jinping are being charged with conspiring to act as agents of the Chinese Communist Party government and obstructing justice. They face up to 25 years in prison if convicted of both charges. Prosecutors said that the clandestine station was closed in the fall of 2022 after the operators became aware of an FBI investigation. That was based in Manhattan's Chinatown district. Assistant Attorney General Matthew Olson said China's security apparatus has established its secret physical presence in New York City to monitor and intimidate dissidents and those critical of its government. He said this is a flagrant violation of our nation's sovereignty by establishing a secret police station in the middle of New York City. Tuesday's settlement of Dominion Voting Systems libel suit against Fox News allows the network to neither apologize nor issue an on-air retraction over false election-related claims. Fox will have to pay over $787 million as part of the settlement for spreading misinformation. The payout has made Dominion 10 times more money than the company's own total value of about $80 million. Dominion CEO John Poulos said outside the courtroom in New York that Fox has admitted to telling lies about Dominion. Critics said that the agreement robbed the public of a trial that would have exposed the news network's lies about fraud during the 2020 presidential election. Dominion Voting Systems has pending lawsuits against right-wing networks Newsmax and OAN, as well as against former President Donald Trump's allies Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and Mike Lindell. Smartmatic, the voting technology company suing Fox News for $2.7 billion for defamation, said its pending case will further expose wrongdoings by the network. Meaningful government safeguards are needed to protect the public from the harms of generative AI. That's according to a report published Tuesday by Public Citizen. The analysis by researchers Rick Claypool and Cheyenne Hunt warns of the harms of the rapid rush to embrace generative AI. After the November release of OpenAI's ChatGPT, generative AI tools have been receiving a huge amount of buzz. The report says this is especially amongst the big tech corporations best positioned to profit from them. Mass deployment is expected to require some of the biggest tech companies to increase their computing power by 4 or 5 times. Claypool and Hunt categorize the harms of this technology into 5 broad areas of concern. These are damaging democracy, large corporations easily gathering and manipulating consumer data, worsening inequality by perpetuating and augmenting systems biases such as racism and sexism, and undermining workers' rights and environmental concerns. Twitter CEO Elon Musk is claiming that the U.S. government has full access to the platform's user data, including private direct messages. In a Fox News interview with host Tucker Carlson airing Monday, Musk said he was shocked to find out about the government's ability to read personal messages. When asked by Carlson if full access included people's DMs, Musk said yes. Musk bought Twitter last October in a $44 billion deal after months of negotiations. Since then, there have been widespread changes at the company. Musk seeks to make the service profitable by instituting mass layoffs and changing its policies, including charging for verified accounts. The mayor of Los Angeles is suggesting spending $1.3 billion next year on shelter and treatment programs to address the city's homelessness crisis. Mayor Karen Bass said in her annual address to City Council, "This is a record for the city of Los Angeles." Bass said that the budget would include the cash for substance abuse treatment beds for the homeless. California Governor Gavin Newsom has also vowed to provide 500 temporary dwellings to the city. The administration of President Joe Biden is also said to have sent more than $200 million to organizations helping the homeless. For years, the city has made major investments in such programs. In 2021, then Mayor Eric Garcetti authorized a $1 billion budget for the homeless. Half of Los Angeles' more than 40,000 homeless people are addicted to drugs or alcohol. Every day, an estimated 5 homeless individuals die in the city. Metropolitan Police Department officers and members of Las Vegas Muslim community broke bread together Monday night. They gathered at the Summerlin Area Command for Laylatul Qadr, or the Night of Power, one of the holiest nights in Islam. Mujahid Ramadan is a member of the Metro's Multicultural Advisory Council. He said if you stay up and pray during the night and read during the night, it's worth 1,000 months of worship. Muslim community members prayed outside before sharing a meal with officers inside the police station. Metro Police Captain David Sims welcomed the gathering. Sims said, "We like to break down barriers, to inject humanity into what we're doing." He added, quote, "It starts to build community trust." This is the third time the police station has hosted the event. The tradition began several years ago after an attack on a mosque in Texas, when officers reached out to Las Vegas area Muslims to offer support and reassurance. Bringing more news stories after the break. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak. I'm here to ask you to support something which we are watching right now, Muslim Network Television. Just like PBS, NPR, or even your masjid, we depend on your donations. We broadcast Muslims, we put Muslims on air, we bring good news, we counter negative media with positive media. And here is an example. When the terrible earthquakes hit Turkey and Syria, Muslim Americans donated $100 million within 5 days. That was more than what US government gave in the same time. Getting our news out is what Muslim Network does. This Ramadan, stand for your community. Donate to Muslim Network. Do it now. Visit muslimnetwork.tv. Thank you so much, and assalamu alaikum.
Welcome back. Millions of visitors to the iconic Taj Mahal are awestruck every year by its beauty. The 17th century marble mausoleum in northern India is considered the jewel of Muslim art in India. Visitors from across the globe have marveled over the Mughal Empire's historical monuments. The Mughals ruled much of the Indian subcontinent for more than 300 years. However, that history is now being diluted in Indian schools. Many textbooks published by the Autonomous National Council of Educational Research and Training have trimmed references to the Mughals. These textbooks are widely accepted by various school boards across India. The Indian Express newspaper reported earlier this month that content on the Mughal era and Muslim rule suffered deep cuts in textbooks from 6th to 12th grades. The reprinted books with the nationalized content hit the market recently. Historian and writer Yusuf Lao's exhibition on the influence of Chinese Muslims in Islamic civilization, particularly in Malaysia, has been well received by tourists and locals. The Chinese Muslim told Malay Mail that Islamic civilization has a broad history with many different cultures. The exhibition has been on since last July and will run through May 8th. He said many people were unaware of the extent to which Chinese Muslims had been present in the region for centuries. Even local non-Muslim Chinese visitors were pleased to see themselves represented, he said. The exhibit included displays of old coins and his own artwork, such as wood engravings and calligraphy. Leo said that he picked up the art of wood engraving in Malaysia due to the abundance of good wood in the country. His calligraphy is done in Jawi, Arabic, Mandarin, Japanese, with each work conveying the wisdom of the culture it is written in. An Islamic seminary, Madrasa, Tahfizul Quran, and portion of a 250-year-old mosque demolished by Delhi government officials without any legal notice in New Delhi. For details, let's watch this special report by Dawood Warnsby.
This 250-year-old masjid was known as Bachchon Wali Masjid, the Children's Mosque. During this month of Ramadan, the Indian government bulldozed its Islamic seminary, Madrasa Tahfizul Quran. The seminary provided education to struggling Muslim orphans who would never be able to afford expensive schools. Neighbors supported the effort by providing accommodations to the children. The mosque property and endowment is owned by the Indian Waqf Board. However, that did not matter to the government, who called it an encroachment and demolished it. Mosques and madrasas throughout India are being demolished without any due process. No notice is given, nor time to appeal to any courts. This is happening to Muslim homes and businesses as well. No one dares to step in the government's way. This time, however, things were different. This Muslim lawyer dared to intervene. He asked police to provide an official demolition order. Police failed to show one. The lawyer insisted. He informed police that he represented the mosque and its orphans. Still unable to provide a demolition order, police detained the lawyer himself. This demolition left underprivileged children with no shelter. They lost their belongings, including Eid clothes, in the debris. This is not an isolated incident. It is part of a well-planned strategy of the BJP RSS regime to erase Muslim heritage from India. Historical mosques and madrasas are being bulldozed by the government across the country. In order to Hinduize India, they are distorting and destroying Muslim heritage and history. The newly mandated government textbooks did not even mention Mughals who built the famous Taj Mahal.
Indonesia, the world's largest Muslim country, is taking major steps to address climate change this Ramadan. In the heart of the country's capital, Jakarta, the Grand Istiqlal Mosque was built with a vision for it to stand for 1,000 years. Its 7 gates represent the 7 heavens in Islam. They welcome visitors from across the archipelago and the world into the mosque's lofty interior. A major renovation in 2019 installed over 500 solar panels on the mosque's expansive roof, which is now a major and clean energy resource. This Ramadan, the mosque has encouraged an energy waqf, an endowment that continues to bear fruit over time. This is to grow its capacity to make renewable power. The mosque climate push is just one example of different Green Ramadan initiatives in Indonesia. The global initiative promotes an array of changes during the holy month of Ramadan, which has fasting and feasting elements. Green Ramadan recommendations include reducing water usage while washing before prayers, or wudu, and minimizing food waste. Other suggestions include carpooling to the masjid, using local produce, recycling, and donating to clean energy projects. Here in the US and in Canada, Muslim environmental groups formed green Muslim understandings from within their religious traditions, according to Imam Safat Karavich, an American Muslim community environmental activist. The Islamic Society of North America calls on Muslims to be an eco-friendly community. The group urges looking after the environment based upon the premise that God sent us as stewards and protectors of the planet. China's foreign minister has told his Israeli and Palestinian counterparts that Beijing is ready to help facilitate peace talks, Chinese state media reports. Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang said on Monday that his country is concerned about rising Israeli-Palestinian tensions and supports a return to peace talks. Last week, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office banned all Jewish and non-Muslim visitors from Al-Aqsa Mosque complex until the end of Ramadan. It came days after hundreds of Israeli settlers and ultranationalists stormed Al-Aqsa complex as Palestinians were blocked from accessing the site. China has offered to mediate between Israel and Palestine in the past. The most recent pitch came in May 2021 when Israel increased attacks on besieged Gaza Strip. China then introduced a 4-point peace proposal. An Egyptian brokered bilateral ceasefire with US backing eventually ended the fighting. The new Chinese offer comes amid signs Beijing is growing more serious about boosting its political role in the region. Last month, it brokered a deal between Saudi Arabia and Iran to restore diplomatic ties after they were severed 7 years ago. Qin told Israeli Foreign Minister Eli Cohen that Iran-Saudi Arabia deal offered a, quote, fine example of overcoming differences through dialogue. He said China has no selfish interest in the Palestinian question. We hope the two sides can coexist peacefully and defend regional peace and stability, he added. Before we end today's news, may I make a special request? It takes 55 hours of work daily to produce this news for you. It's news with a unique perspective, and you only find it here. Sound Vision is a not-for-profit organization which produces it. And just like PBS and NPR, it depends on your donations. Please visit muslimnetwork.tv to donate now, or click the link below to donate. That's all from our Washington studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Assalamu alaikum, good night, and an early Eid Mubarak.